My name is Ava. I'm 24, a recent college graduate, and until 3 months ago, I lived with my parents and my younger sister, Kayla. She's 21. Pretty, charming, and completely unbothered by the weight of effort or consequences. Somehow, everything always worked out for her. Me? I've had to fight for everything. I majored in marketing and design. For the last 2 years of college, I'd been working toward one goal: landing a job at Rise and Root, a fast-growing creative agency that only hired about 5 new grads a year. They were my dream. They valued individuality. Their campaigns were bold, honest, and artistic. It was the kind of place where I could see myself building a real career, not just surviving, but thriving. And they were coming to campus to recruit. The application process was intense. You needed a near-perfect GPA, a full creative submission, and a personalized campaign proposal to show your originality. Most people didn't even bother applying because of how competitive it was. But I didn't just apply, I gave it everything. For 3 straight months, I barely slept. I poured every idea, every sketch, and every waking hour into building something that reflected exactly who I was. My concept was called Human First, a mock campaign for a tech company that emphasized the importance of genuine interaction over data. It wasn't just about design, it was personal, raw. I even integrated parts of my mental health journey into the concept, weaving in minimalism, emotional triggers, and honest storytelling. My professors loved it. My advisor called it agency-ready. She said it was the strongest final project she'd seen that semester. I submitted it the night before the deadline. Every file, every slide, every word. 2 weeks later, I got an email. Thank you for your submission. While your application was strong, we regret to inform you I didn't even finish reading. I just sat on the edge of my bed in complete silence. I thought maybe it was a mistake. I thought maybe someone on the review panel didn't get it. Maybe they picked a safer project. That night, my sister knocked on my door. You okay? She asked, sounding half genuine. No, I said, but I'll be fine. She shrugged. Want to help me with my resume? I didn't say anything for a full 30 seconds. Not because I didn't have words, but because I had too many. My brain was short-circuiting. I was trying to process how I'd gone from pouring months into my dream job to watching my little sister casually steal my work and get hired because of it. You used my campaign? I said, my voice shaking. She gave me this half-smile. The kind kids give when they know they've broken something and are hoping you'll laugh instead of yell. I mean, yeah, I wasn't gonna start from scratch. And you weren't doing anything with it. I stood up so fast the blanket on my lap hit the floor. You stole it. Kayla, that wasn't some school assignment. That was my original work. That was me. She rolled her eyes. Don't be dramatic. You're the one who left it on the family computer. If it was that important, maybe password protect your stuff. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was smug. Not even a hint of guilt. I stormed to the kitchen where my parents were sitting at the dining table. My mom was sipping coffee. My dad was reading the news on his tablet. She stole my final project, I snapped. The one I submitted to Rise and Root. The one I spent months building. She submitted it as her own. My mom looked up, mildly annoyed. What are you talking about? My sister followed behind me, arms crossed. She's mad because I got the job. I turned to them. No. She stole my work and used it to get the job I wanted. The one I worked for. She submitted it like it was hers. My dad set his tablet down slowly. You left it on the desktop. So that makes it okay? My mom gave me a look like I was being childish. Ava, you're overreacting. If she got the job, then clearly she impressed them. She impressed them with my ideas. I snapped. With my story, my designs. I didn't even get an interview and she's walking into the office next week with a lie. Kayla shrugged. I mean, technically you didn't trademark it. I stared at them. My own parents. No one said anything. No one was standing up for me. They were just sitting there, quietly accepting that Kayla had taken something that wasn't hers and pretending it wasn't a big deal. So that's it? I asked. You're fine with this? My mom gave me this tone I've heard my whole life. That subtle condescension wrapped in fake calm. Ava, you're very talented. You'll bounce back. Kayla's just finding her way. My voice cracked. She found her way through me. They didn't respond. I walked straight to my room, slammed the door, and started packing. Not just because I was hurt, because in that moment, I knew something I should have known for years. I wasn't just the older sister. I was the backup plan, the blueprint, the one they leaned on until someone more sparkly came along. I packed everything in under 2 hours. Laptop, sketchbooks, flash drives, my diploma, a few pieces of clothing. I didn't even bother folding. I just shoved everything into 2 duffel bags, zipped them shut, and left the rest. Posters, old gifts, framed certificates? Let them keep the trophies. They never cared what they meant anyway. As I walked down the hallway, Kayla leaned against the wall like she was posing for a movie still. "You're seriously leaving?" I didn't answer. "You're gonna cut off your whole family because of a job?" I stopped, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "No. I'm cutting you off because you don't think what you did was wrong." Her expression didn't change. Not even a twitch of regret. "I mean, you always said you wanted to inspire people," she smirked. "Well, you inspired me." I walked out without another word. Jake, my best friend since freshman year of college, let me crash at his apartment. I didn't even have to ask twice. He had a futon and leftover takeout and 1 spare towel, and it felt more like home in that tiny apartment than my parents' house ever had. He listened while I vented, didn't try to fix it, didn't play devil's advocate, just listened. And then he asked the one question no one else had: "What do you want to do about it?" I didn't have an answer, because part of me wanted to expose her. Email Rise and Root and tell them everything. Show proof. Every raw file was timestamped. Every submission had my name in the metadata. It would take less than a day to verify it was mine. But the other part of me, the tired, heartbroken, exhausted part, just wanted to move on. Until 2 nights later, I was scrolling LinkedIn, half looking for jobs, half doing emotional damage to myself, when I saw it. Kayla Bennett, Jr., creative strategist at Rise and Root. Her bio: passionate about authentic campaigns that reflect real struggles and emotional honesty. I nearly threw my phone. That line? I'd written that. It was in the intro paragraph of my submission file. She didn't even bother changing it. That's when I made the decision. I wasn't going to let her build a career off my back while pretending to be someone she wasn't. I wasn't going to let her use my voice while I stayed silent. So I opened my email, attached every original file. Screenshots of my submission timestamped weeks before she ever applied. The original design boards. The concept breakdown PDF. All of it. Subject line: regarding a recent hire and stolen work. I hovered my mouse over the send button for a full minute. My heart was pounding, because if I sent this, everything would change. But then again, it already had. So I clicked send. Then I sat back and waited. Took less than 48 hours. I was sitting in Jake's kitchen, halfway through a stale bagel when I got the email. Subject: regarding a recent hire and stolen work. My hands were shaking. The message was short, professional, but clear. "Hi Ava. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We've reviewed your files and compared them with Kayla Bennett's submission. It's clear this work originated from you. This is a serious matter and will be handled according to our internal hiring policies. We would also like to schedule a time to speak with you directly. Please let us know your availability. Regards, HR Rise and Root." I stared at it for a solid minute. Then I forwarded it to Jake, just so someone else could confirm I wasn't hallucinating. He read it and looked at me. "Holy sh**T. You actually did it." But I didn't feel victorious. Not yet. I felt like I had just pressed my hand to a domino and now had to watch everything fall in slow motion. That evening, my phone rang. Not from Rise and Root. Not from Kayla. From my dad. I let it go to voicemail. He called again. Then my mom. Then Kayla. Then a string of texts came in, one after the other. Why are you sabotaging your sister's job? You know how hard it is to get hired anywhere these days. Dad, I don't understand how you can do this to your own blood. Kayla, I hope you're happy. You ruined everything. Then came the call from Rise and Root. They were calm, professional. The woman on the line, Natalie, thanked me again for sending the original files. She said they'd already confronted Kayla and that she had confessed after being shown the metadata and timestamp evidence. She also said the offer had been revoked effective immediately. No job. No onboarding. No recommendation. Gone. We'd like to talk to you about a potential opening, she added. I was stunned. You mean, like, the original position? No, she said. We've already filled that one. But based on your work and your initiative, we think you'd be a great candidate for something else. We're actually opening a new team focused on campaigns just like yours. It's a little less traditional, but it fits your style perfectly. I scheduled the interview, hung up, stared at the ceiling in total disbelief. And then, 5 minutes later, I got another text from Kayla. It was long, a block of rage. You are the most selfish, jealous person I know. I never thought you'd stoop so low. You knew I needed this. You knew how much pressure I was under. But as usual, it's always about you. I hope you feel proud of what you've done. Because I'll never forgive you for this. I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have something to say, but because there's no point arguing with someone who's used to stealing spotlights and blaming the shadows. I stared at her. You're applying to jobs now? She nodded. Yeah. Figured I'd try something in marketing. Like you. You make it look cool. I didn't have the energy to argue. I helped her write a basic resume. Didn't think anything of it. 3 weeks later, I was on the couch scrolling through job boards, applying to anything with the word creative in the title when I heard her scream from the kitchen. Oh my God, Ava. I got the job. I turned confused. What job? She waved her phone. That Rise and Root place. The agency you were obsessed with. My heart stopped. You, what? I got it. They called. Said my project was brilliant and they want me to start next month. My stomach turned cold. What project? She paused. Oh, I used that campaign thing you made. The one with the black cover. It was just sitting on the desktop. Everything in my body froze. You submitted my final project? She blinked. I mean, yeah, but it's not like you were using it anymore. After the email from Rise and Root confirmed they'd revoked Kayla's offer, I waited. Waited for the fallout. The confrontation. The screaming match I knew was coming. It didn't take long. That night, I heard a knock at Jake's apartment door around 9 p.m. Jake was in the other room. I opened it and there she was. Kayla. Hair messy. No makeup. Hoodie too big for her frame. Eyes puffy like she'd been crying. For a second, I didn't recognize her. She looked smaller. Not physically, just deflated. Like a balloon that had been slowly leaking ego for days. You happy? She asked, arms crossed. You got what you wanted. I didn't move. I didn't want your job. I wanted my work back. You humiliated me, she snapped. They didn't just rescind the offer, they flagged me on a blacklist. Natalie said they won't consider me again. For anything. I stayed quiet. What am I supposed to do now? You figure it out, I said. The same way I did. She scoffed. You always act like you've had it so hard. No, I said. I've had to work for things. There's a difference. She went quiet. Then they're mad at you, you know. Mom and Dad. They said you overreacted. I actually laughed. They defended you for stealing my project and trying to profit off it, and they think I overreacted? They said families should support each other. I looked her in the eye. Funny. I don't remember anyone supporting me when I was sobbing on the floor the day I got that rejection. She hesitated. For once, maybe she actually felt it. Regret. Or something close to it. You could have just let me have it, she mumbled. I stepped forward. You don't get to say that. Not when I was the one who earned it. Not when I stayed up nights, skipped weekends, broke my back building the campaign while you were out doing nothing. Her lip quivered. I thought if I got in, maybe people would finally take me seriously. I stared at her. Then earn it. Create something. Mess up and learn. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how you grow. She didn't say another word. She just nodded slowly and left. I closed the door behind her, leaned against it, and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Control. Not over her. Not over the situation. Over myself. The next day, I accepted the position at Rise and Root. It wasn't the original job I applied for, it was better. A position with direct creative input, a manager who actually read my concept line for line, and a team that already knew what I stood for. On my first day, Natalie met me at the front desk with a smile. We're excited to have you, she said. We were hoping you'd say yes. Walking through that glass-paneled office, seeing teams collaborate over ideas, whiteboards filled with messy brilliance, I felt like I was finally somewhere I belonged. Not because I was the loudest, or the flashiest, or the one with the connections. Because I earned it. With my voice. My story. My ideas. And they saw that. Not everyone did. A week later, my mom called. I let it go to voicemail. The message was short. I don't know who you've become, Ava, but you weren't raised to tear your sister down like this. You should be ashamed. I saved the voicemail, not to hold on to bitterness, but to remind myself why I left. A month passed, then two. By then, I had a rhythm. My mornings started with coffee and the soft hum of the city through my apartment window. I commuted on foot, earbuds in, passing murals and food trucks and tiny dogs in sweaters. My life felt like it was finally mine. Not borrowed, not hidden, not secondhand. Work at Rise and Root was everything I had hoped for and none of what I feared. The people were sharp but kind. Feedback was honest. Collaboration wasn't competitive, it was creative. I wasn't just filling a seat, they wanted my ideas, and they let me shape things that would go live to millions. I started leading brainstorm sessions. Got assigned to a new mental health campaign. Natalie even pulled me aside one afternoon and said, "You've got a future here, Ava. We're lucky you came to us when you did." I didn't respond right away, just smiled. But in my chest, something settled. That feeling of never being enough? Gone. One evening, while cleaning out my inbox, I saw another email from home, this time from my dad. Subject, "Let's talk." I opened it, not because I wanted to, but because a part of me still needed to see what they'd say. "Ava, we haven't spoken since everything with Kayla. Your mother and I miss you. I know things got messy. I know you feel like we didn't support you. But you need to understand we were trying to keep peace in the family. Kayla's been struggling. She's been seeing a therapist. She's not the same. And your mom hasn't stopped crying since your last voicemail. We just want to move forward. Come home for dinner. Let's talk like a family." Dad, I read it twice. 3 times. Then I closed the tab. I didn't delete it. But I didn't reply either. Because they still didn't get it. This wasn't just about one project. It was about a pattern. A lifetime of watching my needs come second. Of being the dependable one, the mature one, the daughter they could ignore because they knew I wouldn't explode. While Kayla got the excuses. The empathy. The benefit of the doubt. I had always been the scaffolding holding everyone else together. And now that I'd stepped away, the cracks were showing. Jake asked me if I'd ever respond. I said maybe. One day. But not yet. Because healing doesn't mean returning to the place that broke you just because the doors cracked open. A few days later, I got an Instagram DM from someone I didn't expect. A junior recruiter at another agency I'd admired for years. "Hey Ava, saw your work on the Feel Human Again campaign. Loved the concept. We're expanding our digital team. Would love to connect if you're ever open to it." I blinked. My work was being seen. By strangers. By professionals. By people who didn't know me through my sister or my parents. They knew me because I'd put myself out there. Honestly. Authentically. I screenshotted the message. Saved it. Then closed Instagram and went back to working on a concept draft due the next morning. I wasn't chasing anyone anymore. I was just building. Some people wait for apologies that never come. I used to be one of them. But then I realized not every wound needs closure to heal. Some just need space, time, and the decision to stop reopening them. I never went to that family dinner. I never replied to the messages. I didn't need a final showdown or some dramatic last word. I had peace. And I had my voice. Every campaign I pitched. Every meeting I led. Every time I saw my name in an email CC'd to the directors. I remembered how close I was to giving up. And how glad I am that I didn't. My sister may have taken something from me for a moment. But I took everything back. And this time, I'm not handing it over to anyone. Not ever again.